Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, thanks again for joining us. I am Vic. No William, no Nancy today, but it's all so we can make room for our very distinguished guest, Marta Sullivan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Vic.
Yeah, this is really great. So we are going to dive pretty deep into modern day Marine. But before then, I just want to, for our non-MCA groupies, to just sort of introduce who you are and your sort of path to the Yellow Footprints, how you end up coming here, just so everyone's familiar with the awesomeness that is Marta Sullivan. So,
well, thanks. I've never had an introduction quite like that, Vic. So thank
you never will.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I could even redo it again. So you just retired from the Marine Corps in 2022 as a lieutenant colonel. Congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you very much. I retired from the reserves, so I'm a very proud Marine Corps reservist.
Yeah.
And after 22 years.
But you did not retire from the Marine Corps spouse duties that you still have.
That's right. I did not. No, I'm still married to an active duty Marine, and actually, I'm a proud spouse. I love being a Marine Corps spouse. I think spouses, what do they say? You recruit the Marine, but retain the family.
Yeah.
They have a tough job, and raising, family members, and oftentimes, we're talking kids and pups and cats and parents and the whole, there's a whole kit and caboodle that comes along with the Marine. So I think I could never say too many good things about Marine Corps spouses.
It's an unbelievable job. One that I obviously, as many took for granted. My wife and I got married a little later, even though we'd known each other since like 1995. We didn't get married until 2013. I just slow rolled her. But I spent a good part of my, sort of unencumbered with the worry of family. And I didn't really appreciate it until I started, had a family and then was deploying like, oh, this is real. Like when it was just Vic Rubel out there, like, I'll take point on patrol. It's not a big deal, dude. No big deal. DFL, EFL, easy day. But yeah, once it's like started, it was real. And then to then get her feedback on like, yeah, when you're gone, it really sucks.
Well, it does, of course, but it's different. And I think that I think the biggest challenge that Marine Corps spouses have is that we're asked to lead, and I know this isn't a Marine Corps spouse podcast, but we should do one.
No, we
should do one.
Absolutely.
I think the biggest challenge Marine Corps spouses face is they almost lead two different types of lives. One where, we're not single parents, and we never call ourselves single parents, because that in and of itself is a completely different challenge. But when we solo parent, so we solo parent, and then we have, then we come back into our partnership. And the thing that's ironic is that we find the strength and courage to do it on our own. And then we have our Marine come back, and that is the hardest part.
Sure.
Because we realize, oh, well.
Yeah, you have to inject them back into or inject he or she back into the mix that you've found a rhythm in.
Right.
And now
I can do it by myself. I did it by myself for 6 months. I had a baby, not by myself. I had my friends with me, but without my husband.
Right.
So we can do it. And oftentimes it's easier because I don't have anybody else's opinion to consider.
Uh-huh.
And then they come home and have the audacity to want to have input into the family again. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So.
I can only imagine. And also too, I think, and I definitely only speak for myself because I can't speak for others. But there's definitely a sense of, time sort of froze for you guys while we were gone. And so I'm just going to fall right back in on whatever it was when I left.
That's right. But meanwhile, we've back home, the children have hit milestones. Maybe I got a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so things. It's definitely unique. And in fact, one of the things I hope we can talk about later on at Modern Day Marine is spouse employment. But other than employment, it's tricky because we will make decisions uh, based based on the current situation, but you're ahead. You know, our Marines are forward or deployed, and it's just it's an interesting interaction
Yeah.
coming
Well,
back.
and I can imagine, especially for someone who, like such as yourself, has it's also professional aspirations. Like that can't be discounted. Um, to not necessarily be able to invest fully into that sort of that path. Like the whole like climb the totem pole, nose to the grindstone. But you could be leaving in 3 years. You could be leaving sooner than 3 years. I know my wife's an attorney, and many of her colleagues who were spouses of people in the military, they were like barred in like 30 states or something, just so they could hold on to. I don't know where I'm going to be, and they were fantastic attorneys, but they were always associate level because could be leaving soon. I can't get on the partner track. And I just have to like maintain all these bar dues because I never know when I'm going to end up back in Louisiana or California or Chicago, and
Yeah, a good friend of mine's an attorney, and what I think it does is it forces you to look at alternative pathways to the same goal. You know, she's actually, and she'll be on our panel at our spouses employment panel at Modern Day Marine, but you know, she talks about becoming a partner in a law firm. She's a partner now, finally, and she actually went to law school with while her husband was a lieutenant, but she just needed to take a different path, you know. And same with me in terms of getting back into the workforce. I did active duty, and I thought I would do active duty until I retired, but I realized there was another path for me in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I just had to adjust a little bit to accommodate for my family. And you have to make tough choices.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yeah, but so hats off to military spouses.
Absolutely. No, we think we definitely. Well, it'll be interesting too. I think we've been beta testing, taking the show on the road. So maybe that's something that we could help participate in, is that military spouses panel.
We would love
there
that.
at Modern Day Marine. That would be really cool. But let's rewind a little bit. So you'd mentioned with all, I'll just do I'll retire, but I'll do it all on active duty. What brought you? So we talked a little bit as we were sound testing, that the Marine Corps wasn't sort of an automatic for you.
No, surprisingly, no. Well, interestingly enough, I grew up in Stafford. I mean, I spent a small portion of my life in New Mexico, and then my mining and engineering brought my parents out to the East Coast for, you know, the sand and gravel operations on the East Coast. And we wound up in Stafford County, Virginia, back in 1988. So the Marines Marines listening will know that like 610 was a 2-lane road with nothing but an Ames, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and some cows. But I had no idea what the Marine Corps was. I paid no attention to the military. I have, like many Americans, grandparents that served in World War II or Vietnam, but really no strong connection to the military. And it wasn't until I was at the University of Virginia studying philosophy, wanting to go to law school, that I found some strange people in a classroom that seemed like they were my people. I accidentally took a naval ROTC class, and those people were my people. I said, these people are great. What are you doing, and where are you going after school?
Yeah. Didn't you say that the Navy captain was like, "Hey, you don't have to be here," right?
That's right. That's right. No, I realized I wanted to be a lawyer, and speaking of law, but I needed a couple of GPA boosters, so I found, flipped through the course catalog. Back in the day, it was hard copy, and I saw something about naval leadership and history, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I've always loved leadership. I'll give it a shot. I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing. I just showed up to class because, again, back then, no internet, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't compare classes, see who the professor was, and get all the scoop ahead of time. So I just showed up, and there's a bunch of college kids in uniform, totally blown away. And then we were going to learn how to do this newfangled presentation style called PowerPoint.
Yeah, cutting edge stuff.
But he did. He looked at me and said, "You don't have to be here." And he said, "But you're welcome to stay." So I did, and I had a great time. And I really felt for the first time, and that was my third year. For the first time, um, I felt a connection to my peers, and I thought this is great. I want to do what they're doing, and then just asking her, and I knew I wanted to serve. I mean,
Yeah.
so whether it was in law, giving back, or doing the Peace Corps, or doing something for the community, I knew I wanted to give back. But anyhow, um, then the real crazies were the people waking up in the early morning hours PTing, and I thought, no, this is cool. And those
Y-
were the Marines.
Marine options. Yeah.
So I came back to Quantico to go to Officer Candidate School,
Yeah, just up the street.
just up the street.
Yeah, which is so ironic too that it was a PowerPoint class because other than learning how to fire a rifle, there's probably no skill more used in the military than PowerPoint.
It's communication,
Yeah.
communicate your ideas. So, but that was great, and so that's it. That's how I wound up as a. I called my OSO after that. I said I want more of this. I went to Officer Candidate School. I know it sounds crazy, but I loved it. It was
Were you a direct commission or a PLC?
PLC.
Okay.
So I did 10 weeks, and the idea was that I'd come back, sign up for PLC law, or sign the law contract. But I really did have an incredible. It was. Nobody really believes me, but I loved OCS. Hanging out with the ROTC kids prepared me in ways that other PLCers
Yeah.
probably didn't have the availability to, or the option to, and so I was ready. Some of my best friends today are the ones that got me ready. Tom Sieverts and Leslie Mintz. They're all captains and colonels now, and I was ready, and I had a great time. And I thought, no, I don't want to wait another 4 years to do this at the basic school. Let's go now, and that's
Yeah.
it. So I became a Marine logistician.
That's so cool. So very cool. And then we had talked a little bit too how interesting that is to sort of be in that military culture and community, but be kind of on the outside looking in. For myself, having grown up in San Clemente, it was sort of the same thing. It's like the only thing I really knew about Marines is they dressed horribly, and they got in the way at the beach, and they were always drunk.
Right? Okay, that sums it up.
So yeah, and so to end up there, same thing. So you go, you're a Marine logistician. You did eight years active duty. Is that
That's
correct?
right. Yeah, we. So I did. Yeah, in fact, we were talking about the good old days on the MEU, right?
Yeah.
Why you joined, and actually in logistics school, they came and said, we need one of you to go out on the 22nd MEU. It leaves, in 3 or 4 months or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's a MEU?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Totally.
mean,
Yeah.
But I raised my hand because, like we were, earlier, I had no family. I wasn't really tied down to anything. I had everything I had fit in my Ford Explorer, so I raised my hand, and I had a great time in Lejeune. I went on my first MEU deployment to the Mediterranean. That was pre 9/11, so
Med floats.
it
Yeah.
was. And then I did a couple of exercises, and then of course 9/11 happened, and we went over to Kuwait and Iraq in 2003.
Yeah.
But after that, I got married and came to Quantico, and
Because your husband was SBC, wasn't he? At TBS, was he?
so when we moved back, I came to the basic school.
Okay.
He wasn't. He was at the basic school during his captain. He's got about 6 years. Of course, I
Yeah, I want to say he was either an SBC in my company, or he was on deck at the time when I was the second lieutenant going through.
When did you go through?
I went through in we were Arctic Alpha 99, but we got there, I think it was in November, right after Thanksgiving
Of 98.
of 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so he would have been there, and then I came in Echo 99.
Okay.
So
Very
right,
cool.
right on the heels.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, I'm at the basic school as an instructor there, and he's at then McCitic, which
Okay.
no longer exists. And we started having kids, and it was something that we just decided together that he'd stay in, and I would go to the reserves. And
Yeah.
it's been a great fit ever since.
So cool. Very cool. So we talked about the med float, and what are some of your impressions now looking back? Again, we both of us sort of end up we leave the Corps, but yet we're still on the periphery. So what are some of your impressions like looking back on your time?
Well, I'm grateful we didn't have social media.
Oh my God,
It-
it's so true.
I mean, so I'm grateful for the time we had. It was a true med float where you see the world, join the Marines.
You had nothing to do other than get to know people, like them or love them, or hate them or love them. You gotta. I mean, especially for officers. I mean, it's not nearly like the troops, but I mean, you're at least probably 4-6 officers to a wardroom. Yeah, you either read a lot or get to know people and learn how to play spades.
That's right. We played a lot of cards. But we were actually. This is a funny story. Um, uh, my roommate had to go home, and so, it was me and her. We were the last females on this all male LPD. So, and we had a 4-man stateroom because staterooms
Yeah.
are small, but there was only 2 of us, so they gave us a 4-man. But when she went home, I went into a 2-man stateroom to make room for cross deckers and stuff like that. So I was in this 2-man stateroom, but then I got a roommate, so who's my best friend to this day. Uh, we shared a 2-man stateroom, just her and I as the only females on this all male LPD, and I mean, the funny stories we tell of transiting through the passageways to the gym, and
Yeah, yeah.
and finally some female sailors, some shipmates joined us, but it was interesting times for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned like you guys are best friends now. My wife and I was sometimes like bore her with some of my sea stories. Like, man, I hated that MF. And then I'll have all of these great stories. She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, well, I mean, he sucks, but we had a good time.
Well, and like you said, you get to know him. We were on the Nashville, the USS Nashville, and it was a small LPD. So it was a small wardroom. We all got to know each other, playing pranks, but it was quote unquote peacetime, right?
Yeah.
The USS Cole had happened, so we were a little bit cautious moving in and out of ports, but really we were enjoying a peacetime Mediterranean float, and
Yeah, I mean, that was
grateful.
Clinton era. I mean, yeah, like we sort of talked about, like if you got a Neo, you were like hard as woodpecker lips. Like this person knows what they're talking about. You know, because I got off ship for a week and like drove rice to like some distribution point.
Right. That was the time of the 3-block war, and we were big on and we were in the MSSG, and we thought, we're gonna execute this Neo.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Well, I mean, everything too was every Neo or humanitarian assistance thing could be the next Battle of Mogadishu, right? So you just never know. Yeah, I had one of my he was a few years above me, and then he had broken time, so we sort of ended up a little bit as peers, but he had way more experience. But he did Bosnia for an Amtracker. I was like, oh, dude, Terry Possenbaugh, man, watch that. Terry.
I know his wife.
Okay, yeah, Terry's awesome. Anyways, so one of the things I did want to talk about, and one of the things that we focus on through the professional development portfolio of the Marine Corps Association is transitioning. And it sounds like you're well accustomed to transition. I don't think any of us are experts, but you've seen it, done it. So again, like sort of looking back, what worked for you? Is there any advice you have for our listeners who maybe are about to embark on this like massive transition or are in it and going, oh man, this is just like they said, this sucks, or this is awesome, whatever.
Well,
What are some of your thoughts?
yeah, that's a great question, Vic. So one of the toughest transitions I had to make was going from, let's see, where was I? Well, I was still a reservist. I was still an instructor at the basic school, albeit on the reserve side. They have an IMA there. And then I transitioned to become, it was a volunteer position, but it was the president of the PTO.
Oh,
So but I tell you this story because it's a great transition story. I was surprised to hear when one of my colleagues, one of my fellow board members, called me. I think it was caustic, or it could have been harsh. It was not a it was not a compliment.
yeah. Okay.
But what I realized is that it was then you could not have gone from two completely distinct and opposite
Right.
communities, you know. And that's when I realized that we have our own language, we have our own communication style, we have
Mm-hmm.
our own planning process, we really, and it doesn't always translate to the
Mm.
outside. And so the best thing that I could do was stop and appreciate another culture,
Mm.
because that's exactly
Yeah.
what it felt like, going from the Marine Corps culture to a PTO, PTA, um, volunteer culture is very, very different. I no longer could just make people do things.
Right. Well, and I'm sure too. Like one of the things I've found with Marines, and I didn't really even realize this until I was around other former Marines, that even though we're all sort of like very goal oriented or like end state, like moving forward, because we're all doing it at the same time, there's no friction. It's just like who's got the great idea and who's ready to execute. We'll all do that, and then I'll find my way through that. With non-veterans, I found that there's a real reluctance to sort of step up. Like even people who are in the good ideas machine, that's what they do. They do the good ideas part. Like now, who's gonna do this, and then the crickets.
Yeah, no, that's true. It is. We do a very good job inculcating the force with all of these our ideals and our culture. This can do, let's teamwork. I've really not seen it since the same level of teamwork as when you're with a group of Marines that just have a common goal or
Yeah.
common end state, or someone that I could say, uh, we're also very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how we get to point B.
Right.
If we have to zig and zag, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we had a plan, but that's just to get us over the line of departure.
That's right. And it's going to change.
Yeah.
That's an uncomfortable feeling for a lot of folks.
Mhm.
And it's not a wrong feeling. Like it's just an uncomfortable, different feeling. And I
Right.
think when you transition, when you move from one culture to another, having that appreciation and not being judgmental,
Yeah, yeah.
and really trying to understand a different culture, I think is really important to being a successful leader on the outside.
That's such great advice. I think too is, I think for a lot of Marines, younger Marines who are going to, use their GI Bill or go get education outside of, MECEP or the military type programs, I think that culture thing is a shock as well because they figure I'm going to go to school. It's going to be very structured and regimented, and everyone's going to be very ambitious, just like they were in the Marine Corps. And then come to find that, like, yeah, it's kind of a holding pattern for a lot of folks, as they
Yeah.
try to figure out their way. And a lot of professors aren't cracking the whip either anymore. And, whether you show up or don't show up, turn your stuff, don't. I mean, as long as you're paying tuition, no one really cares what you're doing. I think that's so it is that culture.
It's a culture,
Yeah.
sure. And I think the other thing I'd say is figuring out what luggage or baggage from the Marine Corps you want to take with you. Some of it's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's what's going to
don't
set
dump
you.
the pack completely.
Yeah, don't dump the pack. Yeah, kind of sift through it and figure out, okay, I'm going to take this, this, and this, but I'm going to maybe put this on the back burner. Like nobody on the outside knows what a meritorious service medal is,
Right.
and nobody cares.
Right.
Like, so maybe you don't need to mention that or put it in your bio, or, but those attributes or those accomplishments that got you that recognition, how can that now service this new sector you're working in?
Great.
So.
And then how about as a spouse? Obviously, you were dealing with transition even when you weren't dealing with transition.
Yeah. So I was going to mention this earlier too. My friend and I were going through her timeline because she said this will be the first summer in I think 12 years where she hasn't had a major life event happening, meaning PCS, job change, child graduate, grandchild, death of the family. So I think the thing about military spouses is we're always transitioning, and military family members. I'm going to just
Sure.
the whole.
Yeah.
We're always transitioning, and they say, oh, the stressors, new job, moving, the big stressors, they're happening all the time. So my advice to spouses is to be kind to yourself and
Oh.
cut yourself a break.
Yeah, yeah. How about as you're staring down the barrel of for yourself, at some point your husband's gonna have to hang it up, right? So are you guys like, where are you going
That's
to?
right. At some point, the Marine Corps will end for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, what is that like? As you're looking on that, I don't know how distant the horizon that is, but it's there, right?
Oh, sure. You never know when it's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Next week? I hope not next week because I still have college to pay for. But no, I think so. Back to the transitioning with your spouse. One thing I would encourage military spouses to do is to always keep an eye on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered. I did part-time work for a lot of time. Sure, I was in the reserves and I came in and out, but kind of keeping your eye open,
Mm-hmm.
just and being open to opportunities. The opportunity here, I was not. If you had asked me a year ago, I would not have said I would be working full time again on a project like Modern Day Marine.
Yeah.
I would have thought I was at home with, finishing up with getting the last of the kids out of the house after having retired from the reserves. So I think military spouses should keep open to opportunity and then also know their worth. I mean,
yeah.
the countless seminars we coordinate and the volunteer projects we run and the volunteer management we do, there's a lot of hard skills there, databases and phone call, marketing and social media. All of it translates somehow to the private sector, and they can transition, they can do it. There's something there for them when they're ready.
Yeah.
When they want to transition. And so that's what I think my husband and I are hoping to do is well, who knows what what his future is going to, when he'll have to hang it up, but hopefully I'll still be able to work with the Marine Corps Association.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the patience and grace aspect of it is so it seems so intuitive, but it's really hard to do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially back to the thank God we didn't have social media. There's these artificial timelines on everyone. You go to high school, go to college, or go to high school, enlist. The timeline isn't real.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially nowadays when you can change careers and move back and forth, and there's so many different opportunities, remote work, telework. You don't have to be on any timeline.
Right.
You can, if you want to go back and get your JD at 40, go back and get your, go get your JD.
Yeah, yeah.
Just stay open and patient and do what you want to do.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, that's a great segue though, as we talk about making your transition to Marine Corps Association. So your official title here is Director of Engagement and Outreach. And you have, over the past, year plus now, been working on Modern Day Marine, amongst many other things. So you talk a little bit about that transition. Like, what's it been like here at the Marine Corps Association for you?
Well, it's only been 10 months.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, I haven't even made it a year
God.
yet.
The other day I was talking to my wife, and like, man, 3 years. I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's only been 2. I don't know. But it's
Are you saying that time here seems
I'm going to say,
go?
for our listeners, it's because it's so awesome.
That's right.
It's not because time moves slowly.
That's right. That's right.
That's legitimate. This job has been a blessing. But yeah, you hit the ground running, so it just feels like maybe that's why it's.
No, in many ways it feels like I've been here a long time because of it. Well, first of all, it's an amazing place to work. I will be completely honest and say, growing up in the Marine Corps, I was familiar with the Marine Corps Gazette, and I was familiar with the Leatherneck magazine, but I really had no.
Yeah.
I knew I had to join the Marine Corps Association along with the club,
Right.
and I had to give to Navy Marine Corps Relief Society.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I had all of these things that we were expected to do, but I didn't really fully understand, and it has evolved, right? The association has grown since then, since we were lieutenants. But when Lieutenant General Schrody asked me to come and be on the staff and work on Modern Day Marine, I really wasn't sure what I would be getting into. But then in the first couple of days and weeks, I was just blown away with gratitude because it's such a great place to work. And what a neat way to stay connected. You're still
Yeah.
serving Marines. And that's what I love about it. I still get to be with Marines on a day-to-day basis, and I still get to serve.
Yeah.
And I love our mission. I love what we do. I don't think enough people know what we do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very underutilized, but it's really, really good stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Podcast.
I mean, right, the Scuttlebutt podcast. No, but all joking aside, there's some phenomenal resources for our Marines, and it's been a great privilege to be able to come on the staff and work this. And Modern Day Marine's been it's been a heck of a learning curve, but
Sure.
it's been a lot of fun.
Because it's not, to be colloquial, it's not your granddad's modern day Marine. You know, back when, when I was at, when it was McCittick, I was at CDNI, the big deal was, modern day Marine. You would just drive down the street and it was like just a bunch of, MTVRs and MRAPs in the parking lot.
Well, yeah, and you got your free stress ball and
Yeah, you can
maybe
walk
a
around, get some
Camelback.
swag
Yes,
if you play your cards right, get there early enough.
You get there early enough, join a couple push-up contests,
Yeah.
pull-up contests. I won a Camelback when Modern Day Marine went down to Lejeune. I did some push-ups and they gave me a camel. I mean, it was great. You get some free socks.
Yeah, and it was a good way to I'm going to recon Modern Day Marines. I say get out of the office for an hour. But we're not doing that anymore.
We're not.
We're doing so much more.
We're doing so much more, and it's great. A couple of years ago, they did an operational planning team, really taking a look at the focus of Modern Day Marine and its purpose. And, that's when the Commandant really proposed this idea that we could look at moving it to a different location, and who was our real audience here. And then that's when the opportunity to move it to the Walter A. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C., just a few blocks away from the congressional staff buildings, came to fruition.
And I mean that's nothing to sneeze at. That building is amazing.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. It's where other sister services hold their conferences there, hold their expos there, and just what a neat opportunity to take a look at Modern Day Marine and grow it and have, it was great. It was great on the field. The I know there's an official name for the field, but the Major Dad, the Major Dad building in the field. But there was also, it's limited. It was limited space, and also access was becoming challenging. And so the move to DC has just been great, and it's given Modern Day Marine a future of growth.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see it move there.
Yeah, it is exciting. And so what was some of the things we talked a little bit about the spouses panel? What other things would you like folks to know that's coming down the pike this year?
Well, what's really interesting is the Marine Corps Association's focus on Modern Day Marine. Modern Day Marine is an expo partnership with industry and acquisitions, and it's really about experimentation, acquisitions, and our partnership with industry. But at the same time, the Marine Corps Association came in, Woody would know the exact date, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, for the intellectual component, adding a symposia aspect to it. And so there's an intellectual component. We've got a main briefing center where we'll have 3 briefs a day from our top leaders in the Marine Corps, talking about the future of the Marine Corps, where we're headed in aviation and ground and logistics, manpower, talent management, training and education, the state of the Corps. So we'll hear from almost all of our deputy commandants and our commandant and our assistant commandant about where the Marine Corps is headed. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
I think that's all in one place. And then also, additionally, in the Marine Zone, we have a Marine stage where we'll get the granular discussions about emerging technologies. The Marine Corps Warfighting Lab's been a fantastic partner, and they're going to come out and talk about all of their ongoing projects and where they're headed and what they're working with. And so that'll be on the Marine stage. So we still have those components, but we've grown them. So so 3 a day on the main briefing center, and then several a day, including presentations from industry on the Marine stage.
Yeah. I think that's so cool, especially as we look at, what we're trying to leverage through Force Design 2030. Obviously, everyone is focused on the cool gear that's going to come out of it, the innovation that's going to make this idea of stand-in forces plausible. But the leveraging of our intellect as being that thing that's going to the differentiator between us and our peer adversaries. So for us to be really cultivating that and bringing that to the fore, because I think I saw you've got actually a wargaming
Oh,
piece of this
that's right.
thing, and yeah, so and like MCU Warfighting Lab's going to be involved, folks like talking and engaging in discussion about this stuff, not just like, hey, we're going to throw a bunch of equipment at this problem.
That's right. No, 100%. And the commandant's always been clear about that. That
Yeah.
our, nothing. Our number one asset is still the Marine and the brain of the Marine.
Hmm.
And so in that, and I'm glad you brought that up. We are having our inaugural run at Wargaming. Um, it's called we're having a Wargaming convention inside the expo. So
So cool.
Colonel Tim Barrick is incredible.
Yeah.
He's a mastermind.
Really.
He's been on
the show.
He's been on it. That's
friend
right.
of the show.
Friend of the friend of Scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
He's done a phenomenal job putting together Objective One Wargaming at Modern Day Marine, and we'll have tabletop games, cloud-based games. Folks can come up and they can spend the day gaming and making decisions, and then additionally they're going to have the different reps and industry partners there that support
Yeah.
the software or the games themselves. So it's going to be really exciting. That's a great new component to the expo this year, and we hope that it continues for years to come.
Yeah. So what was it like then? Like you come in, you're like sort of. You mentioned you had some OPTs, but I mean, within 10 months, it's a quick turnaround. Like, what was that? What was that like? Like, I mean, I know we sort of joked about you hitting the ground running, but I mean, it really kind of was, right? Like,
Well, it's funny. Fortunately, I mean, Chris Woodbridge, editor of the Gazette,
editor extraordinaire.
editor extraordinaire, and editor soon to be the editor in chief of both magazines. But he has been doing his project has been Modern Day Marine. He's been the lead planner on that, and he's he's incredible. He's a great mentor, a great friend, and he really laid the foundation with our teammates of the Marine Corps League and Emerald, who is our event production team, basically the ones that do the contracting and the logistics and the show, the show production. So they're the ones that laid the foundation for this, and all we had to do was continue to layer on additional we kind of have a 5-year plan. We see where we want to go with the show, and we take what's successful, keep that, and of course the historical mainstays of the show, and then we add on where we think what the needs of the Marine Corps, spouse employment is an important topic.
Yeah.
So let's try and exercise in that space. Decision making, let's try and see if we can add some things there.
Yeah.
But so I'll tell you, some days I felt that, man, this is great. I'm killing it. And, and then some days I was, wait, what does that acronym stand for again? Because I have been out of the game.
Oh God, and they've changed. It's like that used to mean this, now it means that. Like, what is happening?
So some days it's awesome, and some days
we don't call it that anymore. Like, am I still allowed back in?
That's right. That's right.
Well, this is so exciting. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and sort of talk. So the dates are 27 through 29?
That's right, 27 through 29 June
Yep.
at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. And what I'd say is that one of the things, if I could, is just that changing hey, you can just show up at the base and get your boots muddy and traipse around the tents to it. You have to. We need everybody to register for security reasons. We're at the convention center. You have to do a route reconnaissance and figure out where you're going to park. It's, of course, registration and entry is free for service members, active duty service members, and family members.
Yeah.
So, but it does it's a little bit different. So we're trying to get Marines to retrain their minds in the way they think. Transportation is available to units. So if there's a unit out there that wants to come as a unit, we can provide that transportation. They just need to get in touch with me.
Yeah. And then for folks that are already in the NCR, you can metro it, right?
Oh,
It's pretty easy, get around for that.
Yeah, we do recommend take the metro. The stop's right there at the convention center. that's the easy day if you're already in the NCR area. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, where can we find more information? We have a really phenomenal website, right?
We do. We have it. Thank you. For sure. Modern Day Marine has their own website with a detailed schedule. Everything you need to know. Lodging information if you're coming in from out of town. How to register for the expo itself, and then for the individual events. We have, like you were mentioning, just some incredible opportunities to hear leadership speakers, to attend awards brunch luncheons, to go to the spouse employment brunch panel. Lots of different opportunities. That's all on the website, as well as a detailed schedule of day to day
So
what's
cool.
happening.
Yeah.
So just visit
And
our
there's even some
website.
stuff for after, right? I think there's a link for the evening parade at the Iwo Jima Memorial too, right?
That's right. This year we had a really neat opportunity to take advantage of a summertime convention, a summertime expo, and watch an evening parade at the War Memorial. So that's, yep, you can sign
Yeah.
up for that too. We'll take you from the expo to the parade and back.
It's so cool. Yeah, I'm actually my son's birthday is coming up, and it falls on a weekday, actually on a Tuesday, and so we're gonna go do the evening parade for
Oh,
his
that's
birthday.
awesome.
Do a little
I'm sure
picnic
you
thing. So
give them some ice cream too.
yeah, for sure. Well, Marta, this is so great. Thank you again for taking the time to talk this through and your amazing career as well. This is a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, check out our website. It's at mca-marines.org / modern day marine, correct?
You got it.
Yeah. And then where can we find you? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over the place. Marta Sullivan.
Yeah.
And also on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
I will. Now you're on the second deck, so maybe I won't see you quite as often, but I'll see you around.
Sounds good.
Thank you for
having
taking
me.
the time.
Super fun.
Bye, everyone.
Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. I am William Truding, but you've also heard the voices or contributions of Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Lichman, or Ty Frazier. The opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect the official stance of the Marine Corps, DoD, or Marine Corps Association.